Stitch Roadies. Well, this is going to be a different kind of video. It's going to kind of be piecemeal together. So this first segment, welcome. I'm at the Annex at Acorns and Threads, and I wanted to come here and meet up with some Stitch Roadie people, and so here I am. And you can't come into Acorns and Threads without shopping, and there was a whole box of new things. So what can I say? When I get to part 2 of this video, I probably will be, or maybe part 3, I'll be at home and show you in all things exceedingly diligent framed. What it turned out fantastic. I'm so excited about it. Well, this is what's the funny part. I had my Acorns and Threads bag. This is made out of recycled blue jean tabs, you know, that are on the back. And when you bring it in, when you get your bag and you bring it in, you get a discount. But in the bottom of the bag was this autumn, I don't know what you'd call it. It was a gift bag kind of thing. It was just in the bottom. And so I used it to put all the threads that I bought today, because yes, I did buy threads. I had not intended to purchase anything, but the gals at the shop had a box out with all new charts that had come in, and fabric, and what can I say? So look at what's on the docket here. Brenda Gervais, welcome to Jack-o'-lantern Jubilee. You know, I like things that are in a booklet. Don't you? Don't you love that? And it's a collection of 6 Halloween-themed pincushions. And I didn't buy it for this reason, but sprinkling candy corn cookie recipe in the back, I'm telling you. So yeah, I had to get that. And then also in the box of delivery was this pattern, and it just sparked me, and that's mainly what I bought the thread for, is that if you remember, I did Ida and Ira crows as a stitch for my anniversary. And G and I have been together 45 years. So I said, I'm going to do another one. I'm going to figure out another one to do that will be dedicated to our anniversary. And here was another Brenda Gervais chart. Acorn Gathering. But I'm doing it on the same piece of fabric like I did Ida and Ira. It's going to be adorable. That may get started sooner than later, because it'll probably take me till next year to get it done. So it'll be for next year's anniversary. Year 46. And that's what all the thread was for. So stay tuned. We'll be moving on to something else. Well, part 2. Thanks for hanging in there with me, Stitch Roadies. Thank you so much. And if you're new to this little Floss Tube podcast video, welcome, and I hope you'll decide to stay around. You just press the subscribe button and the little bell that's there, and it tells you when I put up another video. And if you click on the little more button on the left, I put a lot of links for things that I bought, or where I bought them, or whatever. I do want to remind everybody about the only hashtag that is right now in my consciousness, and that is the hashtag #LoveMyStitchSal. And you get to just post whatever you're stitching, and there's no time frame, there's no agenda, there's no judgment, there's only, hey, look at me and what I'm stitching. And I love seeing what everyone's doing. I have been told that I'm an enabler, but I do think that that label fits a lot of us. And so post pictures to that. Hashtag love my stitch, Sal. I had a lovely afternoon, let me tell you. I had been contacted by a person who lives in Canada, and she was going to be down here for, she was going to be and is, as we speak, teaching. And she wanted to know if I'm able or fit in the time to meet up at Acorns and Threads. Yeah, that's doable. Yeah, I am totally over my adulting, and so I decided to make a trip over to Acorns and Threads, and lo and behold, as soon as I got there, there was another person who is a cross-stitch stitch roadie friend, and got to talk to her and her husband, and they were in the process of a move down to the Oregon coast. And I just, it was a lovely day filled with connections. I spent the afternoon with Dawn, and we sat in the annex, which is the classroom meetup space of Acorns and Threads. And I did a little bit of stitching on my Prairie Schooler Santa, because, I can't start a new one till I finish one, because there's that finish a Prairie Schooler, start a Prairie Schooler. But the conversation was so fascinating, and she was so filled with inspiring information about her work and her life that I couldn't do any stitching. I just wanted to ask questions and all of that wonderful stuff. And she does work with people who have a similar brain to mine, and so I have to share with you what she shared with me, and I wrote it down so that I could remember. She was talking about ADD or ADHD, the word deficit, that does have a negative connotation to it, and that in reality, those of us who have been labeled or who acknowledge that there is a little bit different cadence to how we move through life, she said it's actually not a deficit, that it is that your priority changes. And so it's actually an attention priority issue, not an attention deficit issue. I was like, I get it. That has a whole different connotation to it. That those labels make you feel like there's an issue or a problem, but in reality, it's that our priorities shifted. And isn't that just a different way of looking at things? Like, okay, this is my priority right now. And when you give in to that priority, things happen. I'm telling you, things happen. And it's so interesting to have had the conversation with her, because I had, over the last few months, realized that one has to lean in to that, because extraordinary things happen. And now I was validated in my thought process. I'm telling you, it was a fabulous couple of hours spent talking. And we just sat in the annex and chatted, and oh, thank you, Dawn. Thank you. So what have I shared with you and what haven't I? You'll know I'm in a little different spot, and that is because When my girlfriend Karen was here, she was looking at my beehive, and she asked me at one point, where do you stitch? And I said, well, I mostly stitch in the bedroom. But I said, I have a Stitchy chair in here. And, you know, my Stitchy chair was over in the opposite corner. And she said, you know, you should really move that Stitchy chair to by the window where the light is so fantastic. Sometimes you just have to listen to your girlfriends. I'm here to tell you. So a lot has been going on in the beehive. I've been rearranging it. I will explain more what's going on the quilt roadie video, but irregardless, I moved my stitching chair from the back corner of this room to right by the window, and she was right. The light, it's like I just want to sit here and look at, you know, whereas I was in the back corner where, you know, I mean, it was satisfactory light, but I'm looking at the same view every single day. Here, I get this fabulous natural light, and I get to spy on my neighbors. Don't tell them. Don't tell them. But I get to watch the dog walkers and the runners, and the trees are starting to change colors, and it's just, I absolutely love this change. And I anticipate that this winter I'll be sitting in this chair a lot stitching. So that's been going on. You know, a lot of work, moving around, a lot of cleaning up, a lot of decision making. It has been quite a month, let me tell you. All good stuff, though, all good stuff. But this is the funny part. In the process of cleaning, I'm gonna I'm gonna tell you this, but oh gosh, it's just, it slays me. I was moving around the furniture in here, and I saw a mailer, a box mailer, you know, the U.S. Air mailer stuff. And I thought, oh, I gotta recycle these boxes. And then I realized there's something in this box. It like had fallen behind my ironing board. And then I picked it up and I'm going, what the heck? And it hadn't been opened. And I'm like, what? What is this? How long has this been here? So I opened it up, and it was from one of the mother cluckers, Heather, Punky Pearl, and it was a project organizer. But look at this fabric. I fell in love with this fabric when she showed it on her, and her Etsy is Punky's Place. But look at this fabric. I mean, how could I resist that? And it's one of her folders, so you know there's several pages in here that can be filled with projects. I can't even believe that you know, I didn't even look at what the postage date was. But so inside, you know, there's a clear plastic envelopes for different projects. Yeah. It was sitting on the floor, unopened, for who knows how. But really, her folder organizers, and I will put the link in the drop-down box, are just amazing, because look at the fabric she chose. Yeah. Thank you, Heather. I did pick up another project bag because when I was at Acorns the last time, what I had requested had come in, and that was A Year in the Woods, number 11, The Beaver. Now, it was going to be I got to start it until I saw the number 12, the reindeer. And I'm thinking the reindeer has to be next. But you've got to love that beaver tail. And let me tell you, one time, I say that a lot, huh? Let me tell you, I had gotten off work and I was going by my mom's house in Bend, and the two big aspens in front were like halfway eaten by beavers in a matter of a couple days. And so I called G up and I said, oh my God, the beavers are taking down the aspens in the front. And so he went and got wire fencing and wrapped and secured around the base of the trees so that they couldn't keep nibbling away at it. So I've never known a beaver that had that neat of a house. I don't know. I might just put leaves there. The beavers outside, the river's right there, was right there by her house. They just take down a tree and, So I got the fabric, and what fabric I decided to do was prairie grass. Prairie grass. Prairie grass. Why can't I say that? Prairie grass. Prairie grass. Prairie grass. You try to say it 5 times real fast, and then you can stop laughing at me. But isn't that great? And I got all the fabrics all ready with my Chris floss tags. I'll put that down, be positive. But I had to have a special project bag for this, and a whole bunch of project bags had come in to Acorns and Threads. Crafty Corey Stitches. Love her bags, and I loved this bag. Look at that. And look at the little charm is a scissor. It's just... So when I went today, I saw that there was a whole huge box of project bags. So I would give Acorns and Threads a call because those are going to go fast. In fact, Dawn, who came down from Canada, Vancouver, Canada, she picked one up. Very, very nice. Okay, I know you've all been waiting. You're going, what were we waiting for? Diligence. Diligence framed. Are you ready? Are you ready? Isn't it spectacular, if I do say so myself? What was really funny is one of the gals at the shop, she's going to stitch it, but when she bought the chart, she said, she looked at it and said, oh, it says diligent. Because she initially read it as saying, in all things be exceedingly difficult. Can you believe it? And she's going to stitch it like that, because I would so stitch it like that if I had thought that. But I am so pleased with how this turned out. And it's such a fun stitch. And it's like I've said before, I don't know why it took me as long as it did, because once I started back into stitching it, it has that cadence to it where you like finish a motif and you feel like you finished a big project. And so this is going to be hung up. Oh, I just love it. I just love it. What else have I, oh, let me just show you this. This was another chart that I had waiting for me at Acorns and Threads. Home Sweet Home Quaker. There were a handful of shops that got this as an exclusive release, I think it was. Needle Art by Wendy. So if you want to do this, you contact Acorns and Threads. It's not complicated, but it's Quaker, and so there's that. You just know that it's going to be a fun stitch and it's going to move right along. Isn't that great? Yeah, Home Sweet Home. So that's on the pile of yes, I want to make it. I also bought this from Top Knot Stitcher. I saw that, you know, this is the thing when you're on Instagram, you know, these different shops and designers post pictures, and then you you know, and so I just thought this was so lovely. I like the color. It's kind of like a gray-green color, and what's not to love about, you know, Jardin Privé? I mean, I pretty much love everything that they do. And this was called Quakers de l'Automne. So, what I didn't realize is that this is one of 4 panels by Seasons, and that you do it on a big piece of fabric, and it's framed all together. I know you don't have to do it that way. I know you don't. But when I saw the back, I don't know. I'm feeling this like big need to have all 4 of them. And maybe what I need to do is to get the winter one and stitch it through the winter, like make it a seasonal start. It is a slippery slope, let me tell you. I know people tell me all the time I'm an enabler, but how, I mean, yeah, I'm enabled all the time. And then I found out that, you know, on my calendar, the Crow calendar, that the 25th of this month is the full beaver moon. The full beaver moon, yeah. I was hoping to whittle down the whips, but I am not sure that's going to be possible. But if you stitch this, yeah, I'm trying to rationalize. Don't you rationalize all the time? Do you? Or are you just like a, you know, I have arguments with myself all the time. I have, like, you know, I've lectured myself. I don't listen. Yeah. Oh well. I'm really torn. I did receive in the mail because the cluckers, you know, my sweet cluckers, someone posted, you know, we tease Audrey Stitchy Witch 42. We tease her all the time about raccoons. I think I might have raccoons too, because I have these two irrigation, round irrigation, big, I don't know what you call them, but there's a knob down in there, and then the plastic lid snaps into the top. That lid is taken off. I'll put it back, and a couple days later, someone has taken it off. And I don't think it's my neighbors. It's in my backyard, and I don't think it's my neighbors. And the coyotes don't have the thumb ability, and the squirrels are too small, and the ducks just quack about it. And so it's got to be the raccoons. It's got to be the raccoons. And Audrey says that they are like a gang. They are like yeah, they're like a gang. But this ribbon was posted, and I had to go buy it. I mean, look at that. Look at that ribbon. I just love that one with the garbage can. Yeah. So I got that ribbon. I have been stitching. What have I been stitching? Well, I'm doing my fat quarter shop. Let me see if I can get a pretty picture out of it. You know, Happy Halloween. And I know that if there are some of you that have joined me, that you already know the pattern that I'm following, the what would I call it? The schedule of my Happy Halloween. And I thought, rather than make myself crazy, that I would just make this little schedule. So here it is. I got the PDF download from Fat Quarter Shop, but Acorns and Threads has the beautiful hard copies. So what I decided to do was that I would do 2 days a month, and that I would stitch the outline as I went along. So that's what I have been doing. So for October, I got the cat and the candy corn, and then I'm just working on the label. Now, let me tell you, what I decided to do, and I think I said this before, is that the whole grid I am stitching with 2 threads. Is it 2 over 2? Yeah, 2 over 2. And it gives us this nice thick stitch to it. But for the motifs inside the days of the month, I am only using 1 thread, and I love the way it, you can see kind of the cross stitch. Isn't that cute? So now I already stitched out the grid for 3 and 4, and in November I will fill in 3 and 4, which is the moon with the bats and the scary house. So for those of you who are stitching this or thinking about stitching this, this is really a great way to approach this project. You know, it'll be done for next Halloween, next October, because you know when you get towards the end you start ramping it up a bit. But then it's not so much pressure, you know, not so much pressure. So now I get to put this thing away till next month. I wish I could remember where I got that fabric. but I love it. So I already showed you, oh, I didn't show you the fabric that I got for the squirrels. I feel so comfortable in this corner. Do you feel comfortable? You feel like you're sitting here with me? I hope you do. So I told you earlier in the video that I was going to stitch these two squirrels much like I did Ira and Ida Crow. That was my anniversary start and finish, all on one piece of fabric. And so although this is supposed to be two pillows, I'm putting them on one piece of cloth, and I'm doing I found the called for cloth. I found the called for cloth Winter Brew linen by R&R, 36 count. And here I have R&R linen, 36 count Winter Brew, and they figured out how big a piece I needed, and serged it, because you can get everything serged at Acorns and Threads. And so I'm going to have both of those on this piece. And then that'll be my anniversary 2023. Well, I think that's it. I think I pulled it off. Yeah. Well, I'll let you know next time how much I'm liking the spot. I'm already liking this spot, but you never know. And if you decide to join me on Quilt Roadies, I shall share with you what's been going on in here, that I've been moving things around. So stay tuned. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I surely appreciate the company, and I love running into you when you stop and shop at Acorns and Threads. Love you guys.